O Mother Nui, stretch high above this valley. Your starry body is our glory. Then see the hawk of yonder Rahur quit, his fiery splendor, oh so mighty. He brings a light for all our weary souls. He makes the broken spirit whole.
Okay, let's unpack this. Imagine trying to map the absolute limits of human consciousness.
Right.
You don't use standardized tests. Instead, you take a 16th century Renaissance angelic code, like a massive golden topaz, and you trek deep into the exhausting Sahara Desert.
Yeah, it sounds completely wild.
Right. Well, welcome to today's deep dive. We are exploring a stack of historical and academic sources on Aleister Crowley's The Vision and the Voice, which is also known as Liber 418.
And our mission today is really to figure out how this 1909 occult expedition into the Algerian desert became this radical, terrifying blueprint for destroying the human ego.
Exactly. Because to understand why they were out there, we have to look at the historical foundation they were building on.
Right. I mean, this wasn't just random mysticism. Crowley called his approach scientific illuminism, which basically meant applying rigorous scientific observation to, spiritual realms.
Which is a fascinating contradiction in terms.
It really is. But specifically, they were testing a metaphysical map created by Dr. John Dee. He was an Elizabethan mathematician back in the late 1500s.
Oh, right. Dee and his partner Edward Kelly. They claim to have received this complex Enochian system directly from angels.
Yeah, exactly. And it detailed 30 concentric spiritual realms called aethers that basically surround our world, but they never actually explored them systematically.
Right. So fast forward to 1909, Crowley and his scribe, Victor Newberg, literally hike into the Sahara to test this map. They're out there using Dee's Enochian calls, just staring into this large golden topaz set in a wooden cross.
Staring into it to scry or see into these layers, yeah.
Right. And it honestly reminds me of a computer hacker trying to, brute force a password. But the system they're hacking is their own brain chemistry.
That is such a great analogy, because they were using the barren, sensory-deprived environment of the desert combined with this really hypnotic, repetitive Enochian chanting to do exactly that.
So they're just hyper-focusing on geometric reflections in this stone for hours on end.
Yes, exactly. They're intentionally overloading their normal cognitive functions to force an altered state of consciousness, just hacking through it layer by layer.
Wow. And what's really fascinating here is the dynamic between the two men, right? Like Newberg, the scribe.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, Newberg wasn't just sitting there politely taking dictation in the sand. He was an active participant enduring immense physical and psychological strain.
Right, because the extreme fasting and the searing heat would just destroy you.
Yeah, and that was the point. The intense rituals were designed to exhaust the physical body so the unconscious mind could totally take over.
Wait, and didn't Newberg supposedly bear the trauma of this adventure to his grave?
He did, yeah. The psychological toll of breaking down those cognitive walls was incredibly severe. But, this methodical brute forcing actually worked.
Right, it worked until they hit the ultimate firewall in the 10th ether, which is a realm called Zax.
Right, Zax. The Abyss.
The Abyss. And the historical details here are just wild. Crowley supposedly sits outside the protective magic circle, using his own body as a vessel to manifest an entity.
Yeah, Corazon, the demon of dispersion. They even sacrifice pigeons to use the blood as a physical anchor for it.
Okay, wait. Here is where it gets really interesting, and I have to push back a bit. Because suddenly Newberg is fighting off this demon that looks like a naked savage. He's literally driving it back with a dagger as it throws sand at him.
Right. It's a very vivid scene.
I mean, are we supposed to believe they literally fought a physical demon in the desert? Or is this just, two severely exhausted guys losing their minds from the heat, the isolation, and all that pigeon blood?
Well, if we connect this to the bigger picture, academics actually view it through that exact psychological lens.
Oh, really? So they don't see it as a literal monster?
No, scholars suggest Karanzan isn't like a literal monster with horns. It's really a personification of the emergent, chaotic unconscious.
Ah, okay. So when you systematically dismantle your own cognitive structures, your ego violently resists its own dissolution.
Exactly. It's a basic survival mechanism. During the ritual, the entity keeps crying out, "I am I."
I am I. Wow.
Right. That is the fragmented, rational self absolutely terrified of losing its identity. You basically have to destroy that firewall of the self before you can move forward.
Okay, so what actually happens when that firewall breaks? Like, what's on the other side?
Well, once the ego is shattered and Karanzan is defeated, the mind can access the higher unified realms.
Oh, so this is where Crowley's framework introduces Babylon and chaos.
Yes, exactly. Babylon representing the interconnected divine feminine, and chaos, the all-father. It's the breaking down of the isolated I to experience the unified all.
Which means surviving the abyss is literally the only way they could reach the final layers of Dee's map.
You got it. And that journey finally concludes in the first Aether.
And the realization waiting in that first Aether isn't some grand cinematic vision, is it?
No, not at all. It is described as a silent void of purity. It's a state of existence completely beyond language, form, or any individual identity.
Wow. So what does this all mean for you listening? I mean, Liber 418 illustrates that true understanding often requires the complete annihilation of the personal ego that limits us.
Right, it wasn't about adding more data to a clipboard. It was about stripping the self away entirely to see what actually remains.
Exactly. And I think that leaves you with a really provocative thought to mull over. If ultimate enlightenment requires abandoning all labels, dualities, and the very concept of I am I.
Which is terrifying for most of us.
Right, terrifying. But it makes you wonder, are our modern relentless attempts to define and categorize our personal identities actually keeping us trapped in the abyss?